The biggest scene in the film was the recreation of Dunkirk, which involved over 1,000 extras, a huge ask for both cast and crew.
We went and looked at the area that the soldiers would have walked through in the real Dunkirk, and unfortunately it was too expensive to film in France. But we found the areas just to be very flat, basically. So we went to the flattest part of the country, Lincolnshire, and had them walking through that, and then arriving, Dunkirk was quite industrial, so we found Grimsby and used Grimsby.
You can smell the sea. The story consumes. I will return.
I played Frank Mace, who is a man who's just come into contact with Robbie and Nettle a few days before we actually see them on screen. And we're actually trying to make our way through France and try to get back to Dunkirk.
He's a really interesting character because basically he's this Londoner, he's a townie, and the great thing about, I think, playing him is that just the predicament he finds himself in. Like, he hates the countryside, he's ill-equipped and underprepared for what he's sort of got himself involved in.
They've been walking for about 4 or 5 days to get to Dunkirk, and they finally get there, and they reach this dune, and they can smell the sea, they can hear the sea, they know they're at Dunkirk, and they run up this dune, and they see what they've been dreaming about, they see what they've been walking to and killing themselves to get to.
Redcar was this wonderful kind of seaside holiday resort, but with some kind of steelworks in the background. So you work with what is available. I went in one day and said, "Hey, guess what? I'm thinking of doing the beach sequence as one Steadicam shot." And they all looked at me with horror, and their faces went very pale. And I thought that was a wheeze. So the next day I continued the joke, saying, "No, I'm really thinking of it." And slowly it sunk in and became a serious proposition. It was also a matter of necessity. I only had one day with all those extras. I only had one day on that location. So I thought, okay, the way to do it is just to do it in one shot. And everyone rose to it. Everyone was excited by the challenge.
It's a big 4.5 minute one-shot deal, and walking from here all the way down the beach, all the way up, back the beach, up to the pier up there where there's a cinema, back round the Ferris wheel up there, and you feel that if you get it wrong, you've cost someone a hell of a lot of money.
The French cavalry shooting their own horses so they don't fall into the possession of the Germans, other trucks being disabled, 2 men having a fight, someone's crying, a party of people singing hymn on the bandstand and so on. All this has to be threaded together in a kind of like a symphony of action that has to happen at just the right moment. Terribly difficult to do. And one man carrying backwards a 60-pound Steadicam outfit. There are simply 10 million things that can go wrong.
We're so excited, but at the same time we're all very nervous, and we don't want to muck up anything. We want to give our best every single shoot, every single bit of the film, because we feel privileged.
It means a lot to me because my father was an actual Dunkirk veteran, and if he'd still been alive now, he'd probably come down and watched us and he'd been pretty proud.
Apparently they have to go down and their handlers sit on top of them. They're going to pretend to be crying and feeding them sugar lumps really, really, really covertly. If you see that scene, which is 4.5 minutes long on the beach of Dunkirk, has lots of different shots in it, it's because I've messed it up.
If the camera got to the very end of the scene and suddenly, James had tripped and fallen flat on his face, the whole, 1,000 people, or rather 1,600 people would have turned around and spat at him.
I managed not to mess that shot up and cost the production something like £35,000. Which is a good thing.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You've done an incredible job. And you're going to make this a really, really special sequence in our film.
I couldn't even speak when I saw it first. We projected it just off the beach in a little room, but the entire crew came in to watch it. Everybody was really excited and really pleased and dead up for it. But when it finished, we all clapped and cheered, but everybody had a wee lump in their throat.
It was very emotional. I always find waste a terribly emotional thing, and that's what the scene was about. It was about the waste of human life and the waste of horses' lives, and it was a waste of machines, and it was just a scene about waste, and also about the kind of nobility of those soldiers.
I don't think you'll see a Joe Wright film that doesn't have 100% good performances in, because he has this incredible ability to just, he's a bit like a horse whisperer with actors. You know, he just knows what to say to get you to go to that extra level.
Amazed by having just seen the film, which is just extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary, and it's heart-rending. And everybody, Keira and James, all the actors are really wonderful. It's not only the acting, that's one level, and the acting's as good as it is, because Joe Wright's brilliant with actors. I certainly found him brilliant in my few scenes.
I'm proud of what we all did together, and I'm also very proud of being, you know, involved and associated with a book by Ian McEwan. You know, I mean, it's a spectacular novel and a true masterpiece, and the fact that I was able to realise that cinematically, I'm very proud of.
Personally, I believe that it's the best thing I've ever been involved in, and from script to production, and I believe it made me a better actor. I believe Joe Wright made me a better actor.
If all we have rests on a few moments in a library 3.5 years ago, then I'm not sure. I don't know.
Come back to me.
The first time I saw it projected on a screen with the final print and you know, combined print with sound, and that was kind of thrilling and a large relief as well.
Did you cry?
Maybe. Of course I did, yeah.